Okay, so let's start first manual testing. So, as you know, why we need testing, right? So, testing is required in any of the field, right? Either it is for software or any of the domain. If anyone has developed something, it is required to test that. So, in software testing, we do manual testing and other different level of testing. So, why testing is required in software testing? So before that, we need to understand what is testing. So testing is a group of techniques in software to determine the correctness of the application under the predefined script, or if you want to do it manually. For example, we can take an example of an e-commerce website. Let's say we are going to test that application from if starting to end. So let's say there are, if it that application has not tested well, and there is some issue in that application in payments basically, so there would be a huge loss to that application if there are any issue in payments, there are any defect in payments. So that's why testing is very important. So let me share my screen to show you something. Please do let me know once you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So as you know, what are the prerequisite to learn manual testing tutorial for beginner and advanced level, right? So it is very basic requirement that you should have a basic computer knowledge, and as well as I've written interest to learn software testing. That's it. It is not required anything else to learn software testing. And basic and testing is also very easy to understand and very easy to learn. If you have eagerness to learn something, so you can learn software testing. It is very easy. So as you know what is the agenda of our session. So we need to learn fundamental of testings. So as here I've written, why is testing necessary, causes of software defects, testing and quality, how much testing is enough for us. So these are the point which we'll learn in our coming sessions. And then what is the root cause analysis? If any issue, let's say you have encountered, so why that issue causes, we need to write steps of that issue. Then testing principles, and after that we need to do what are the fundamental testing processes. So these are fundamental testing processes which we'll learn in our upcoming sessions. And then what are software development model, under that we'll learn different uh, level of activities when we do develop the software, then we do the testing, then verification, validation, everything. And then testing, what are the different type of testing we do, and design, test management, what are the defect life cycle, reporting, and etc. So these are some points which we will be learning in our upcoming sessions. So as you know here, why I have written here, why is testing necessary? So what here I have written, like testing is necessary because everyone makes mistakes. So sometimes those mistakes are unimportant, but sometimes, as I have given you an example of that e-commerce website, sometimes it is unimportant and sometimes it is very expensive as well as dangerous. Expensive in terms of what? Let's say there is an issue in payments module. So for example, let's say there was any product which is of $10. but when you are going to place the order, it is not deducting that $10 from your account, and you are able to place successfully order. So this is the loss of that website, whatever the application they have, that merchant. So we need to check everything and anything we produce, because things can always go wrong. And here, as I've written, humans make mistake all the time. So it is what we do best. So we do manual testing, as well as automation testing is also required, because human can make the mistake, but that if we have automated something, so that automated test script will not do mistakes. Okay. And here, as I've written, because we should assume our work contain mistake, we all need to check our own work. How? So what does it mean? We all need to check our own work. So suppose in software industry, I need to tell you some hierarchy. Like there are when an application get developed, there are certain people involved in developing that application. There are developers and testers, and there are also different people who design, who work as a designer. But mainly here I'll discuss only two people's role. They will come along them only, right? Whatever the designer or there or whosoever is come, let's discuss only two roles here first. One is developer and another one is testers. So here, because we should assume our work contain mistakes. So let's say I am a developer and I have developed something, but I cannot say that my software or my code is defect free, that I have developed everything right. That's why we all need to check our own work. So me as a developer has developed something, so I'll be assigning whatever I have developed to some tester who will test our work. However, some mistakes comes from bad assumption and blind spots. So we might make same mistake when we check our own work. So let's say we have developed something, I have developed something, I won't be able to get my mistakes. So any other person can go into whatever I have developed and find out my mistakes. Is it clear why is testing necessary? Amreen. Okay, I'm Tom. Yes, okay. Uh, Eric, you know why is testing necessary now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, okay. So let's move to another points. Causes of software testing. Okay, so why is it that software system sometimes doesn't work correctly? We know that people makes mistake, as we have already discussed. So if someone makes an error or mistakes in using the software, okay. So, so when causes of that software defects here, we'll discuss. So when you see any software application, let's say uh, you are working as a tester and you see some defect. So what is defect, right? Defect mean there are some expected result, and when you are testing, you are getting some actual result. So always you compare your expected result with actual results. And if those are not matching, then it is a defect. Is it clear? So that's why here I have written the causes of software defect. If someone makes an error or mistake in using the software, this may lead directly to a problem. The software is used incorrectly and does not behave as we expected. right? So let's say there was a functionality on a page when you log in. So you should be able to get the logo of that application. Okay. But when you are you are doing login on a website, then you are not getting the logo of that application. So it is a defect. Soft people also design and build the software, and they can make mistake during the design and build. These mistakes means that there are flaws in the software itself. So that's why when, okay, before that, can who are new to the class, can you please ping your email ID to this chat box first, so that I can add you in our Slack group. So whatever information we pass, you can also get the same. We have a group.
So you want to send an email ID on Slack or
No,
on,
no,
on
not
Zoom meeting?
if you are already added, it is not required. Who are new to this class and not added in our Slack group, you please share
Okay.
your email ID here so that we can add you. Yeah, Thomas, I got you. Yes. Any other one, Eric? Okay, Eric, you are already, I think, no. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm in there, but I
Yeah,
don't have
you are in
access
the
to
group.
the drive though. I need access to the drive for the recordings.
No,
Do
you
I
are
need
in
to get mine also?
no, you are, I think you are already in the group, right?
Okay.
Okay. Who are new to this class, you can share. Okay. Now, yeah, we were discussing about causes of the software defects. Now let's discuss what is manual testing. Okay. So manual testing is the process of checking the functionality of an application as per the expected result without taking any help of automation tool. So means whatever we are testing manually. So there, let's say there are certain steps. As I have given you an example of login functionality. When you do login, you enter username, you enter password, and then you get the home page of that application and that application logo. So here, let's say this is a website. Okay. And it has username, password, and clicking on submit button. So when I submit after entering the username and password, I should be getting this message, login successfully, thank you, login. Let's say instead of this, you are getting only one login successfully and you're not getting this thank you login. It means that there is some issue. So that would be a defect. And this you are performing manually, as I have entered username and I have entered password, and I'm manually clicking on this. So I'm manually checking. This is what called as manual testing. So while performing the manual testing on any application, we do not need any specific knowledge of any testing tool. So in automation testing, we take the help of automated tool to develop automation test script, which will do the testing automatically. So here we do not need any knowledge of testing tool, rather than we have a proper understanding of the product so that we can easily prepare the test document. Is it clear what is manual testing? Everyone who has not understand what is manual testing, they can raise their hand, and I will explain this again. Okay, good. I hope everyone understand what is manual testing. Okay, now we have categorized manual testing into three parts. Number one, white box testing. Number two, black box testing. And number three, gray box testing. So before going to white box and gray box, I will first try to explain you about black box testing. Okay. So what is black box testing? Black box means you do not have, or you do not need any coding experience, or you do not need to have the knowledge of coding in black box testing. So black box testing is based on the some requirement. So for example, what in software industry, before doing the development, as Asif sir must have explained to you in our demo class, that when we do the development, before development, we do the proper planning of that software, like how we are going to develop that software. So there are different levels before doing the development. First to plan analysis and design. First we do the analysis. We do some proper planning and doing the analysis. And after that, then after that we do designing, and then we do the development. And once development is complete, we do the testing. So in black box testing, there are some requirements which we need to test. For example, we need to test login functionality. So basically what we need to do in login, what we need to do, we navigate to the required website or required URL. Let's say this is the website which you need to test login functionality. So first you need to navigate to this website. After that, what you do, enter username, enter password, click submit button. So what is the requirement, that when we enter username, enter password and click on submit button, then I should be getting what is expected result. User should be able to log in successfully and get the below messages on home screen. What are those messages? If you enter username admin, password admin, and click on this submit button. So I should be getting login successfully message first, and then I should be getting thank you for login. So this is my requirement. Once the software has been developed, so this is what I would be getting on before doing the development. There would be some design and mock from going through that design. I would be able to understand that if I will be doing the login, I would be getting this expected result. So you as a QA will be having your own requirement analysis and would be writing some sort of scenarios. So when the application has been developed, you will be going with your preparation to test that application, and whatever the scenarios you have written, you will be executing those scenarios on that particular application. Does it make sense? Okay. Okay. So Zainullah, are you able to understand what we are discussing here? Okay. Guys, don't only listen things, okay? Just involve in this, okay? If I'm asking some questions to you, or if I'm asking something to you, please respond. So this is not only one-way communication. This should be a two-way communication, okay? Okay, Tom, are you able to understand?
Yes, I do. I sent that message.
Okay, great. So yeah, instead of sending the message, yeah, just respond yes or no, okay? Everyone. Okay, so let's move. So we were discussing about our black box testing. So black box testing is based on either you give thumbs up when you are, if I ask you, you just give thumbs up that you are able to understand. So that I would also be able to understand that you are able to understand whatever I'm explaining it to you. And if you have any query, just raise your hand. Okay, and you can also explain what are the things that you are not able to understand, because it is very important you to understand that thing, as well as it is very important me to make you understand the things. Is it correct? Okay. So black box testing is based on the software specification or requirement. So it is examined in the beginning. In the second step, the tester creates a positive test scenarios, as I have discussed, and by creating the scenarios, you also test positive things as well as you also test negative things like invalid scenarios. For example, what is the positive here?
Successfully
Positive,
login.
yes, successful login is a positive scenario. You enter correct username, correct password, clicking on this submit button, and then you are able to log in successfully. But what is negative things? Let's
When you
say
just,
I use,
Unsuccessful
When
login.
login has failed.
yeah, login failed.
yes, login failed. Means, let's say instead of entering your correct username password, you are entering something else. So you should not be able to log in successfully, right? Because you have not entered your correct username and correct password. So if you are entering invalid things, you should not be able to get login. Otherwise, hacker will hack your application. Is it? So for example, let's say if you are entering invalid username and invalid password. So here, what it is you are getting, enter your username and password correct. So you will be getting a validation error message. So if I if I ask you to write invalid negative scenarios of a login functionality, I can help you in one invalid login scenarios. Okay. For example, this was a positive scenario. If I ask you to write negative scenarios of login functionality, so what could be our negative scenarios? Positive is when user entered a valid username. Let me first write here positive. When user enter valid username and valid password or correct password, then user should be able to logged in successfully. Okay. And let me make you one invalid scenario, negative scenarios. when user enter blank username and correct password. Then user should not be able to log in. Okay, this is one negative. What could be the second one? When user enter correct username and blank password, then user should not be able to logged in. Who can send me the third one? Please.
When user enter incorrect username and correct password.
Yes. So can you please, yeah, send me in Zoom chat box. Everyone, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Let's see who all can send me your negative scenarios in Zoom chat box. You have 5 minutes. Apply your brains and send me your answers in Zoom chat box. Everyone. Then I would be able to understand that how much you are keen to learn software testing. One negative scenario is also fine. Yeah, Amrin, very good. I got your answer. Others, please do fast. Eric, yes. Tom. Yes, Abhi, very good. Yeah, so here, third one could be when user enter incorrect username and incorrect password, then user should not be able to log in successfully. So you can create test cases. These are, we also call this test cases. You can create your scenarios accordingly. So before doing the development of the application, you write your negative and positive scenarios, and when the software product has been developed, you'll be testing those scenarios, whatever you have listed down here. Clear? So in manual testing, we perform, so in black box testing, we write our own scenarios, our expected result, and when the end product is developed, when the software product has been developed, so we go to that application, enter all those steps, whatever the steps you have, you need to, here you have, we have written the scenarios, we'll be writing the detailed steps, and we will be performing when the software application is ready, and we will be doing these activities manually. And in black box testing, we do not need to have the knowledge of coding. Just whatever, as you do browsing, surfing on over the internet, same thing you'll do in manual testing. You'll be having some expected result. You'll be entering your steps. Let's say for login, what it is required, what are the steps? You need to enter username, you need to enter password, clicking on the submit button, then you will be having some expected result. And when you are performing manually, then you will be getting that actual result. So you have some expected result and you have some actual result. So before doing the testing, black box testing, you have written your scenario. And what was your scenario? When user entered this one, when user navigate to this application, enter username, enter password, click submit button, what was your expected result? User should be able to log in successfully and get the below messages on home screen. And then you need to write your actual result. What is your actual result? User is able to logged in successfully and got the and gets the below messages on home screen. What are the messages he is getting? Login successfully. Thank you for login. So you will be validating your expected result, what you have written before the testing. And while doing the testing, while performing the black box testing, you will be validating whatever your expected result is it matching with your actual result? So yes, if it is matching, then your testing status is what? The status is, this is one test case and your test status is pass. If it was not matching, if it's matching, if expected result, if expected result and actual result is matched, then your test is passed. If expected result and actual result is not matched, then your test is fail. And when your test is fail, then you need to report it to someone, right? So when your test is fail, then you need to report it something. So when you'll have to report the same, so that failure thing you will have to log somewhere. So that is an issue to that application. And in our software, in software terms, we call it as a defect, and we write the defect that we will be discussing later. So everyone, are you able to understand what is black box testing? Give your thumbs up. Yes, Eric. Everyone, if you're not able to understand, please raise your hand. Yeah, Amreen, Sabir, I have got your answers. Others, please respond. Otherwise, I won't be able to understand where you are able to understand or not. So please try to get involved in this. Please respond. I have got only 3 answers till now. Three person only responded that they are able to understand.
They're figuring out how to give thumbs up. I've understood it.
Yeah. Then it is fine. If you're responding, then it is also fine. Yes, Tom. Noah. Are you able to understand what is black box testing? Okay, let's move to other topic. When we were discussing, we discussed about black box. Now we need to understand white box. So in white box testing, we need to have the knowledge of coding. So when a product has been developed, so developer also do their own testing. Okay, so when a testing where coding part is involved, so that would call as white box testing, right? So let's say developer has written some code, so they won't be testing functionally, they'll be testing their coding. Whatever they have developed as a code, they will be testing their code. Then that testing is called as white box testing. So white box testing means where there is a knowledge of coding is required, so that testing is called as white box testing. Black box testing means you do not need to have coding knowledge, and white box testing means you should have coding knowledge. Whatever it has been developed, you need to understand that code and then test that code. So that testing is called as white box testing. And in gray box testing, it is a combination of both black box and white box testing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Now we will discuss about how software product develop. Right. So there are some stages of doing while doing the software development. So we will be discussing software development life cycle. Everything has. Yeah, sure, Tom, please ask.
Yeah, so the question is about whiteboard testing. You said
Yes.
for whiteboard testing, you need to have the knowledge of code.
Yes.
Right. So if I am a Java programmer, then later turn to a QA, right? And then a program is written in PHP. I don't know PHP. Does it mean I can't do a test on that code as a Java
No,
programmer?
in which programming language that code has been written, you need to know that code. You need to understand that code, then you will be able to test that code. So that programming knowledge is required in which language that program has been written.
Okay, as a tester, does it mean you have to know all the languages, or you are restricted to a specific test you have to do?
So see, as a black box tester, you do not need to have the knowledge of other programming language. Okay. So here, what we will be learning first, we'll be learning as a black box testing, where we will be doing manual testing first, and then we'll be doing automation testing. We'll be learning automation testing, where we won't be doing white box testing. White box testing basically done by the developer itself, who has the knowledge of coding.
Oh, okay, that's clear. Cool.
Yeah. So in black box testing, we also do automation testing where coding knowledge is required, but it would be very specific. You can choose either any language, whether it is Java, okay, .NET, PHP, Python, any language you can choose to write your automated test script. So yes, Dwayne, yes, your question is, so what we learn is not considered to be an SDET. So yes, SDET means software development engineer in test. So what we learn that, yeah, you can consider that that would be a SDET profile. For SDET, you need to learn a lot of things. A lot of things means you should have programming knowledge, as well as you should have some database knowledge, okay, as well as API testing, everything you need to required to be an SDET. Yeah, so yeah, we will be learning everything here as a SDET. If you want to go in SDET profile, we'll be learning everything here. Like we'll be learning automation testing, manual testing, API testing, as well as database testing. Also, we'll learn here what is agile, how we work in organizations. I'll be demonstrating to you everything. So, is it clear to you now? Yeah, great. Yeah, we learn Java, core Java. Yes, we only learn core Java here in our class. Okay, so next question is, are we going to use Jira as a spell? Yes, Sabir, definitely we will learn Jira as how can we manage our project in Jira, how can we write user stories in Jira, how can we write test case in Jira, how do we log defect in Jira. So these are the things which we will learn in our upcoming sessions. Yeah, that's good, everyone. Yeah, if you are asking question, it is very good. Any other question anyone ask before we move to the next one? Okay, if you have not any questions, let's move to our next topic, which is software development life cycle, which is SDLC. So what is SDLC? SDLC is the process that create a structure of development of a software. So when we are going to develop a software, so first stage is what? First stage always would be a requirement phase. In this phase, for example, let's say you are going to develop an e-commerce website. So before developing that e-commerce website, you'll first discuss about the requirement. Like in your software application, what would be your requirement? First, user should get login, and after login, there would be some search. We can go to, let's say, Amazon website. So here, you should be having a login functionality, and after login, you should get this home page where you can search the product. And once you search a product, let's say any book you are getting, okay, and then once you are clicking on that book link, you should be getting another window open. Then you should be able to select the quantity, whatever you want. Then you can add to cart, or then you can proceed to buy some items. Okay, so these are the requirement. Before doing the development, requirement will be discussed and will be documented. Okay, so first phase would be requirement phase. In this phase, requirement is discussed with everyone. And the second phase would be design phase. In design phase, it include the detailed analysis of new software according to the requirement phase. So basically, this is the high priority phase in development life cycle of a system because everything is written, designed here. What programming language we are going to use, what database we are going to use, and how our look and feel should get. So everything would be designed before doing the development. Next phase is development phase. Whatever requirement has been done and whatever the design has been discussed, on the basis of these requirement and design, developer start doing the development. Then after development, there would be testing phase. Okay. And once testing has been done, tester has given the sign off, then there would be deployment phase. Deployment phase or delivery phase. When software testing is completed with a satisfying result, then there are no remaining issues in the working of the software. It is delivered to the customer for their use. So it would be deployed in a environment where end user can get the access of that application. So as soon as customer receive the product, they are recommended first to do the beta test, do the testing, and then if there are any issues, that end user can also report. So what is there in the software development life cycle? First, it would be requirement phase, then design phase, then development phase, then testing phase, and after that, deployment phase. Is it clear, everyone? What is software development life cycle? Please give your thumbs up. Yes, Eric. Yeah, great. Okay. So this is what a software development life cycle. So here you have chosen your path as a QA, like as a tester. So what would be a software testing life cycle, right? This is the development life cycle. So what would be a software testing life cycle? Let's discuss about here. In software development life cycle, there is one phase, testing phase. In that testing phase, it has also its own life cycle. That is software testing life cycle. In software testing life cycle, it also include different testing processes. The testing process is executed in a well-planned and systematic manner. All the activities are done to improve the quality of software product. So in as you see in software development life cycle, in software testing life cycle, it also contains certain steps or certain phases. In software testing life cycle, here also will be having a requirement analysis. Requirement analysis. Then So what would be there in the requirement analysis? So first step of software testing is to produce its requirement analysis. In this phase, we discuss entry criteria and exit criteria. Now we need to understand there are three in requirement analysis. We prepare our document where we write what would be the entry criteria, like what are the requirement and what are the activities to do you do and what would be the deliverables. These are the things we discuss in requirement phase. Then there would be design analysis. In this analysis, we write that as if you remember earlier what we were discussing, we write the test cases or we write the scenarios. In design analysis, we write the test cases. We write test plan and design analysis. And after that, in which environment means, let's say when developer do the development, they would be doing development in their local environment, and after once everyone, let's say 5 developers are working together, they'll be writing their code on their local machines, and once they have been done their development, they will be merging their code and will be pushing into a development environment, and they'll be checking whether everything is working in their development environment. Once they are good that everything is working in development environment, then they will be pushing the code into testing environment. So tester would be testing the code in the testing environment. So that phase is environment setup. So in testing, next is test execution. And after that, if anything is not working, then defect logging. And after that, if everything is working fine, then test cycle closure. So everyone, are you able to understand what is testing life cycle?
Yes.
Great. So don't worry about it. Like we will be having our session on Jira and everything. So you'll be able to understand the thing in details. Okay. So whatever we are explaining it, just try to understand. If you are not able to understand, then raise your hand. I will make you understand. Yes, Eric, please.
Just a quick question about the defect portion of the STLC. Does the defect have its own life cycle in the event that it does have a defect?
Yes. Defect has also its own life cycle that we will be discussing in defect life cycle.
Okay.
Okay. So when we do discuss about defect, so we will be discussing defect life cycle also. The defect has also its own life cycle. Any other thing, Eric, you want to understand?
Can you explain environment setup again?
Sure. So see, as first you understand requirement analysis, then test plan and design analysis. Environment setup means in which environment you need to do the testing, right? Before testing, your environment should be set up. So developer do that development in their local environment, and then let's say as I've given an example of 5 developers are working together, then they will be after developing their own code, they will be merging their code and will be pushing their code into development environment. And after everyone has pushed their code, then they'll be checking whether everything is working fine in development environment or not. So every developer would, after combining or merging their code, each developer will test their own code whether that code is working after combining or merging or not. Once they are done with that, then they'll be pushing their changes or their code to testing environment. In that environment where tester are required to do the testing, or tester are required to perform their testing. So that would be set up here in. Okay, so basically environment is what? Here, as you see, you are able to see this URL, right? So this, where you are going to do the testing, that is an environment here. Is it clear? Amreen. So environment is basically where, in which URL you are going to test it. Okay. Anyone else has any other question? Okay. So we'll discuss next types of software testing. Initially, as we have categorized, first we can categorize it as manual testing that we have already discussed. Second, we can categorize it as a automation testing that we will be discussing at later phase of our. So what is manual testing that we have already discussed, that white box, black box and gray box, and what is automation testing that we will be learning after completing the manual testing. Now let's discuss about labels of testing. What are the different labels of testing? So testing labels, there are different label of testing. So when a product has been developed, till that when we are doing this test closure, there are different level of testing. So the levels of software testing involves the different methodologies which can be used while we are performing the software testing. So in software testing, we have certain levels of testing which we can discuss as here. First is unit testing. First is what? First level is unit testing. Now here we need to understand what is unit testing. Unit testing is the first level of software testing which is used to test if software modules are satisfying the given requirement or not. So unit test is initially done by the developer itself. As when we were discussing about white box testing, so that developer do their own testing as unit testing where coding knowledge is required. So testing is done in when testing is done in its initial phase while doing the development, then this testing is called as unit testing. So let's say 5 developers are working together. So they will be testing their own code in form of unit testing. So unit testing is also called as first level of functional testing. So here the primary purpose of executing unit testing is to validate unit component with their performance. So for example, as I was giving an example, let's say 5 developers are working together. So at the end, what they need to do, they need to combine their code. Clear? Because as 5 person are working, at the end, they will have to deliver the software product as a single unit. So they will have to merge their code. Clear? So in unit testing is the first level of software testing, and where developer need to test. In some cases, tester also can test if they have coding knowledge. So first level of testing is unit testing, and after that, integration testing. Integration, as you know, integrate means combine. So integration testing is what? It is the second level of testing. It is the second level of the testing where integration testing processes, like say it is second level of testing which comes after unit testing. So in integration testing, tester test the unit, or after unit testing, integration testing happens where software tester roles come here into the picture. When let's say 5 developers are working, they'll be combining their code as they'll be integrating their code as a single unit, and then it comes to software tester who will test the application after doing the integration. So integration happens after unit testing phase. We can take an example of, let's say, in any e-commerce application, first it would be login, then checkout, then selecting the product, checkout, payment, and logout. Let's say these are the 5 modules on a software application in an e-commerce website. So each module, let's say there are 5 developers who are working on those 5 modules. So they'll be doing the unit testing, and after that, once they'll combine the code, and then it comes to QA. So QA start doing the testing in integration testing phase. Is it clear? Then third level of testing is system testing. So in this phase, end-to-end testing, where the end-to-end testing is required. Let's say there are for an e-commerce website, there are 2 URL. In one URL, there are some offers and all is selected, and in second URL, in second environment, you are able to do an end-to-end. First, you are logging, checkout, selecting the product, checkout, and payments. So if you are testing the system as a whole, then this testing is called as system testing. Okay. And the last one is acceptance testing. So this is the last and fourth level of software testing, which is also called as an acceptance testing, which is used to evaluate whether a software is as per the requirement or not, and it is meeting as per its delivery. So once all those 3 levels of testing, this unit testing, integration testing, and system testing has been done, then acceptance testing happens, and it is not basically done by the tester, it is basically done by the kind of end user who has the business knowledge. And then they'll be testing whether it is meeting the expectation or not. As per the requirement, it has been developed or not. Clear? This is also known as user acceptance testing, which is done by the customer before accepting the final product. So the acceptance testing is also known as user acceptance testing. Everyone, are you able to understand label of software testing?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Now let's understand defect as we were discussing in our life cycle phase, right? Testing life cycle, as I said that we will be discussing in a later part. Okay, so let's discuss about defect tracking. How do we log defect? What is the life cycle of a defect? What is the priority of fixing that defect? Like all these things we will be discussing. Okay, so first of all, we need to understand what is a defect. So in basic, so the defect is basically like we also called it as a bug. So bug is the informal name of defect. Either we call it as bug or defect or so what it is means, let's say uh, what the software developed or application, if it is not working as per the requirement. If you we were discussing here, what was our requirement? That user should be able to log in successfully and get the below messages on home screen. And this is the actual result. What we were expecting, this should be our expected result. This is our actual result. If expected result and actual result both are not matching together, then our test is fail. If expected result and actual result is not matched, then our test is fail. And if expected result and actual result is matched, then our test is pass. So in case of pass, we just note it down, but in case of fail, we will have to log a defect. And where do we log that defect? We log in a we have to document it somewhere. So will be having a defect tracking tool, which is also called as Jira. Just give me 1 minute, okay? Okay, so everyone, let's have a break of 5 minutes. Okay, and then we'll resume our test class. We'll be having 5 minute short break. Hi everyone, I hope you are back. Okay, so let's discuss about defect tracking. So in defect, we need to understand few terminologies. So basic terminologies of defect, what we call it. Sometimes we call it defect, sometimes we call it as bug, error, issue, mistake, failure. So these are the things which we should be basically denote with defect. So let's first understand about the defect. So what it is a defect? When the application is not working as per the requirement. What is the defect here? When the application is not working as per the requirement. Sometimes people also call it as a defect, bug. So bug is basically an informal name of defect. Sometimes people also called ish error. So what is error? So error is something when there is an issue in the code. Problem in code leads to get the error. Issue. What is an issue? When the application is not meeting the business requirement. What is the mistake? Mistake is nothing when there is a problem in the document. Let's say there was some requirement and in that requirement there is some mistake. So problem in the document is known as mistake. Six is failure. Failure. If there are a lot of defect in the application, so lots of defect in application leads to the failure of the software. So these are the some basic terminologies in defect tracking you should know. Now next is why defect comes. Next is what? Why defects come. Why defects occur. Anyone can explain why defects occur? Okay. Eric, can you explain why defects occur in the software application?
if it isn't like if it isn't corrected in development or something was overlooked in development stage?
Yes. So basically, when a developer has done some wrong coding, or they have missed something while doing the coding. Okay, or let's say they have done some extra coding, whatever it was required before, along with that, they have done something else also. So first is they have done wrong coding. So wrong coding means what? They have done some improper implementation. Suppose, let's say they'll have to develop here they have developed home page, flight, hotels, car rental, everything. And while clicking on home page, it is not navigating you to home page. Basically, it is navigating to the flight finder page. So this is wrong coding they have done. And missing coding. First, why defect occur? Wrong coding. Second one is missing coding. So missing coding means what? Let's say uh, when user click on here, so let's say user click on this flight. So instead of when it should get flight finder only, but and there these are the field it should be there, right? Type, one way, passenger, departing, all these are the expected fields should be there. But instead of all fields, let's say flight details fields are there, but these preferences fields are not there. So this is missing coding. They have missed something. Now next is extra coding. So extra coding means, for example, here on flight detail and flights, it should be having a hyperlink here, right? A link, this is a link here. When you are clicking on this, it is highlighting this. But instead of highlighting this also, it is highlighting as a blue this section also. This is some extra coding which is not required, because in requirement it is only there to highlight this part only wherever you are going to click, but it should not highlighted this section. So if it is getting highlighted this section also, this is an extra coding, and this can also lead to the defect. Okay, so I hope you are able to understand defect tracking terminologies and then why defect occurs. If you're not able to understand, please raise your hand. Okay, next is defect tracking tool. Let's say you got some defect. So where you need to track that defect. So there are a lot of defect tracking tool, which is Jira. Jira is a software tool, which is also called as defect tracking tool, where you can log the defect. So if I show you Jira software. So this is a Jira software. Okay. And if you want to raise a defect here, so you can log, let's say anything is not working as per the expected result. So here you can log the defect. So I have already logged as and a defect here. So how does a defect look like? So first of all, you need to write the description of the defect that unable to log in into the application. And after that, you need to write the steps. Step to reproduce the defect. Navigate to the URL, enter the valid username and password, and let's edit this. And then click on submit button. So user should be able to log in and navigated to home page. User should be able to log in and navigated to home page. And what is actual is that user is unable to log in into the application. This is the defect. And then you can do some attachment of that defect, like evidence you can share as an attachment. So you can raise your defect in defect tracking tool. So Jira is a defect tracking tool. Similar to that, there are also different softwares named as Bugzilla, Mantis, and Redmine also. So these are few defect tracking tools. Clear? Now next is, what is a defect life cycle? As earlier we were discussing. So in this section, we will learn about the bug life cycle and different status of a bug and software bug. So here, if I show you online bug life cycle. Okay, so let's see the images. This image. So when you create a defect, its status is new. When you are going to create a defect, it is in new status. And once you created a defect, it will be assigned to some developer to fix that issue. Here, once you raised a defect, it would be new first, create a defect, and then it is a new in status, as you can see, right? When developer, after that it would be assigned to some developer, then it is to do. New, assigned, open. New, to do, and then in progress. Once the developer has been done, so it would be marked as developed done, fixed, new, assigned, open, fixed, pending retest. Here, dev completed means dev testing has been done. Then QA means tester would do the testing. Okay. And then QA completed. So similar to here, once you created a defect, it would be new in status, then assigned to developer. Developer started doing the fixing of that defect. Once it is fixed, it is pending to retest, then QA test, verify, and close. For example, when QA was doing the testing and again it is not working, so QA will reopen that defect. And again, it will go to the developer who has done the development of the defect. When you assigned a defect to some developer, in any case, let's say a duplicate defect is also raised. So developer can reject that defect, or the defect you have raised it and developer is not able to reproduce that defect. So developer can defer or make it not as a bug. So this is the defect life cycle. Anyone who is not able to understand defect life cycle, I hope you are able to understand it. Can you please raise your hand if you are able to understand it? Can you please give thumbs up or raise your hand if you are able to understand? You can send me your chat box also.
I just have a question. So when it's duplicated or rejected, then what happens? Then does it just goes further on in the process, or what happens after the dev like rejects it or duplicates or defer it as a not a bug?
Okay, so let's say you raise a defect, right? So something happens at that time and application was not working due to some infrastructure issue or any other thing, and you raise as a defect. And when developer tries to recreate that scenario, at that time, that was working fine. So what developer can do? Developer can defer or may mark it as a not as a bug and assign to the same tester to retest if it is, if that same tester is able to recreate the issue again. And if the tester is able to recreate, then tester can again reopen. And if the tester is not able to recreate, then tester can close that defect. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Anyone else, if you have any questions? Okay. So let's move to another topic. Severity and priority. Before that, let's discuss how do we raise a defect. Okay. Okay, so when you got a defect, so you will click on this create, and here you will be getting the list of project where you are working. So you will be selecting your project name, and then you will be selecting issue type. So story, task, bug, epic. So I have not discussed anything else apart from this bug. So I'll discuss first what is defect or bug. So you will be selecting the issue type. Okay. Issue type is bug and status is to do here. You can select different status. So initially you'll be selecting to do, and then you'll be writing the summary of the defect. Okay. So for example, there was a defect in the application where the criteria was so password should accept more than 15 character, and it was not accepting more than 15 character. So you will be writing a line of information, one liner information to understand the defect. So here you will be writing the summary of the defect that password field is accepting more than 15 character, which should not accept more than 15 character. So this was a defect in the application. After that, what you will be doing, you will be writing steps to recreating the defect. For example, you as a QA has been raise a defect, and at the end developer has to fix that issue, and you need to write steps very clearly and carefully, because let's say you are in US and you have created a defect and you are working in a different time zone. Someone in any other country working in a different time zone, if you will be writing the steps very clearly, so the developer who is working in different country, that do not need your help to understand the defect. So your defect should be in such a manner that whosoever is going through that defect, trying to recreate to fix that issue, can understand the defect of whatever the step you have written. So you'll be writing steps to reproduce. Okay, so what would be the steps to recreate the defect? First is login into the website, whatever the website is, it is, for example, this one only. Okay. Navigate to the, not login, navigate to the website. Navigate to the website and then enter username, enter the password more than 15 characters. So after that, what is actual result? User is able to enter the password more than 15 characters. What was expected result? User should not be able to enter the password more than 15 characters. Okay, this was actual result, this was expected result, and after that, whom you want to assign the defect, like you will be assigning it to developers lead or your QA lead, who will be assigning to respective developer. After that, here you can get the list of developer or to whom you need to assign the defect, and then you can write certain level where in which module you are getting the defect, so that you can easily, and this is a sprint. So nowadays, earlier what we were working in waterfall model, or now we are working in agile. In agile, we work in a sprint. Sprint is basically nothing, a duration of work, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, in which we work. So in which sprint you got the defect. So you can select the sprint here. And then story point estimate. So how much time it will take to resolve that defect or fix that issue defect. Here you need as to mention as a story point, which we'll be discussing later. What is a story point? And then who is the reporter here? Me as a reporter can by default get my name. And after that, you will be doing some attachment as an evidence that when the defect occurs, what was the error and like how it got that defect. You can write this and attachment. Then you need to link issues. Like you can, if it is coming due to any defect or user story, you can link it here. And here there are two fields which is not mentioned in this basically. Those are priority and severity. So priority means how soon the defect can get fixed. So priority is important for fixing the bug, or which bug to be fixed first, or how soon the bug should be fixed. Priority means how soon the defect should get fixed. For example, you as a QA raised 10 defects, right? And developer has to fix those 10 defects. But which defects should get fixed first? That is priority. That you need to prioritize first that which should get fixed out of those 10 defects, which one should get fixed first. That is priority. So priority could be First, priority. Let's discuss about priority. What is priority? Priority means which bug need to get fixed first. So priority means high priority, medium, and low. So high priority mean it is a major impact on the customer application and it should fix first. Medium means in this the problem should be fixed before the release of the current version. Low means the flow should be fixed if there is some time, so we can fix it later as well. Okay. Now, what is severity? Severity means the impact of bug on the application. Okay. So impact means, let's say, here, let's understand the severity. Severity, let's say if I click here on flights, I'm able to get this flight finder. And if I click on this hotels, I'm not getting that hotel section. Here what it is saying, the section of our web site is currently under construction. Sorry for the inconvenience. It means that this is not working fine. So it is crashing it or it is breaking. So its severity, if it is a e-commerce application, so its severity is high because customer is not able to book hotels from this application. So its severity is blocking, like customer is not. So severity could be blocking, so if the severity of a bug is blocker, which means we cannot proceed to the next module, and unnecessary test engineer sits idle, right? Here, let's say developer has developed this hotel section, okay, and you have been assigned to test that, but here it is not working fine. So it is blocker for tester because tester is unable to test that defect. Okay. Now next is critical. Critical means that the main important parts are not working. Main important functionality is not working, and few of low priority things are working. So that is critical because tester in that case also cannot resume the testing. Next is major. Okay. So major means also there are most of the in most of the components are not working fine, but still test engineer can do some pass out of testing. Minors means other is minor. Minor means most of the functionality is not working fine. There are few things which is not working as per expected result. Now I will I will give you an example of, let's consider is high priority, high severity combination. High priority and high severity. Can anyone give an example? Let me give you first high priority, high severity, high priority, priority, and low severity. Then low severity, low priority, and high severity. Low priority and low severity. So can anyone please give me an example of high priority and high severity defect? Okay, let me give you this high priority and high severity defect. For example, you are going to test some functionality. For example, let's say you are going to do this flight testing, right? And without logging, you cannot test that functionality. This is high priority, high severity. Priority is high means you need to get this bug fixed ASAP, because without login you cannot do it. And severity is also high because it is breaking the application, because you are not able to log in. So it is breaking the application. Severity is impact of the application. Priority means how soon that defect can get fixed or bug can get fixed. Priority. Now, can anyone tell me an example of high priority and low severity? Let me send you in Zoom chat box. Example of high priority and low severity. Please, can anyone give an example of? Everyone think of it. I'm giving you 2 minutes to think it and then send me in chat box. I need your answers. Okay, I got Sabbir answer. I will discuss on this part, Sabbir, with you. Others, please reply fast. Okay, Mudin Jiva, I got your also answer. Others? Okay. I'll wait few more seconds and then we'll discuss whatever the answers you have sent it to me. Okay. Okay. So let's first discuss with Spelling mistake on a website. High priority and low severity means spelling mistake on a website, and then she gave gave an example of company name. So Sabbir, yes, your answer is correct. High priority and low severity means, let's say you log in into the website and then you are getting an incorrect company logo, which is very high priority, because if company logo is not working, then you'll have to fix it very soon. But low severity means it is not breaking the application. Right? So everything is working fine, but that logo is not correct. And logo is not correct, then priority is high, but severity can be low. Okay, now others, what you have explain, give me an example. You have given example like Amreen has given, if the user is able to log in but not able to navigate to hotel page. So this is not an example of high priority and low severity. So severity means it is breaking the application. Here, in your case, it is breaking, because you are saying that not able to navigate to hotel page means it is, hotel page is breaking. Breaking means high. So severity is high, right? So it is not the case of high priority, low severity case. Now, Eric, if you user cannot log in but doesn't get the login successful message, this is high priority and high severity case. Okay. Spelling error in website. So if there are any spelling error, so it is not a case of high priority and low severity. If spelling mistake, it could be low priority and low severity case. That is also called as cosmetic error. Now, can you give me an example of low severity, low priority and high severity bug? Example of low severity and high priority. Yeah, I'm giving you 2 minutes to think and then give me an answer here. Yeah, Sabir, I got your answer. Others, please reply fast. Others, are you going to give me an answer, or I'll wait one more minute for others to send your answer, then I'll explain. Eric, Tom. Okay. No. Amreen, please send your answers. Amreen, I have got your answer. Okay. No. Tom. Eric, please send your answer. Yeah, send me whether it is correct or incorrect. I'll explain. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. So let's discuss about this. So Sabir sent an answer that when user links click on a hyperlink and it doesn't work. So Sabir, your answer is yeah, correct, but you also need to specify which link is not working. If it is on a home page and where you are clicking on some, let's say some section which is very important, for example here, let's say this flight section, and if it is not working, this booking a flight is very important, right? And if it is not working, then it is high priority, high severity. But let's say there is some contact section here. If it is not working, so this is not a high priority, but this can be low priority because contact we can get it fixed later, but its severity is high because it is breaking. So this can be a case of low priority and high severity because if it is breaking, wherever it is breaking, it is high severity. So here it is high severity, this contact is high severity and low priority because we can fix it to later as well. Okay, now the last one is low priority and low severity. So everyone, please send your answers, then we'll discuss. Okay, so everyone, now the example of low priority and low severity is correct. You are almost correct. Like let's say if any cosmetic error, any spelling, let's say under construction, here it is under spelling of this under constructor is not correct, but this functionality is working fine. Okay. So this can be a cosmetic error, which can be a low priority and low severity defects. Okay. So this is all about defect tracking. Okay. Any questions, anyone, if you have? So we almost done with today's class. Okay. So everyone, whatever we have done so far, let's summarize it. Okay. And then you need to, okay, you need to go through it. First, what we discuss. First, we discuss what? Fundamental of testing, why testing is needed, its limitation, objectives, why testing is necessary, causes of software defects, testing and quality. Okay, and then what is different type of testing, different levels of testing, then what is software development life cycle, what is software testing life cycle, what is defect life cycle, what is bug, error, defect, and different things. So what you need to do is you need to go through all everything, what are different level of testing. So you need to go through everything, because when you will be coming to class tomorrow, I can ask you these terms are, so it would be very good or great when you will be going through all these concepts which we have discussed today itself. Okay. So anyone else, if you have any questions before we leave to this class. Tomorrow, same time, we'll be having class. Okay, Amreen, do you have any questions?
No.
What we have discussed so far today?
No.
Okay, good. Eric,
No, but I do have a question on will this be on the Slack or where will this be housed to review?
can you please come again?
Would those notes be on the Slack for us to review?
I'll share this recording to the Slack group.
Okay. Because I don't have access to the drive with the recording, so can you add me to that?
So you don't have the access of this Slack?
I have access to the Slack, but not the videos or the recordings, like the
Okay.
drive.
So yeah, I'll share the recording as well as the password of that recording. So you will be able to download.
Okay.
Okay. No, do you have any question? Any question?
Sir, are you asking me?
No, I am asking to know.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. I can come back to know. Sabir, you have any questions, Sabir?
No, sir.
Thank you. Tanu, do you have any question?
Not now, sir.
Okay, now last, Tom. Do you have any question, Tom?
No,
Okay.
I don't. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Let's join again tomorrow. Okay, before that, let me note down your email ID so that I can invite you. So I have no Thomas email ID. Okay, let's note it down. And then I have no email ID. And then I have Amreen email ID. I will all invite you all to the group. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Thank you, sir.